Welcome in to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Good evening and welcome to Greenville Grit. I am Terry Williams.
And I'm Michael Overton, and along with us today we have part two
That's right.
of our meeting we had with Kevin Mulligan. When did we do that? First week of May, I believe? Somewhere around that. We talked a lot about the bond, but Kevin, your position exactly would be Director of Public Works.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
for the
correct.
City of Greenville. Just want to make sure I get the title. Forgot I didn't do that before we started. But we're going to get more into the discussion of the roads and where we're going with that. Some of the work that you guys have done a lot of work lately. We've been seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of roads out there being milled and resurfaced.
That's
and
right.
we've done a lot more milling at the moment than the resurfacing, but we'll be following up. shortly with
Getting
that.
there.
Well, before we always get into the show, we have to thank the
That's right.
sponsors that allow the show to go on. So thank you so much again to Greenville Toyota. If you're looking for a new Toyota or Scion vehicle or new used car, go see Craig Gillis and the Greenville Toyota team at greenvilletoyota.com, across from Fresh Market on Memorial Drive, or at 321-3000. The Overton Group, real estate professional serving all of Eastern North Carolina. So
Thanks for helping
thank
us
you
out.
for the support you've given to the company. And if you need help in commercial real estate leasing, sales, property management, business brokerage, or residential brokerage, you can look us up on the web at ovtgroup.com or 355-7006. Ribeye Steakhouse.
Oh, yes.
I think I ate there last Thursday night after our last show. Fantastic.
Yes, it is.
So if you haven't had a
needs to
chance to go
visit.
there, try them out. Ribeye Steakhouse is at the corner of Arlington and Fire Tower Road, and they've got a great salad bar, fantastic steak, and they also have a location in Williamston if you're ever down that way.
That's right.
So we're going to take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll come right back with Kevin Mulligan, and we'll start talking more about what is going on in the Public Works Department. Welcome back to the Greenville Grit. I am Michael Overton, along with my co-host Terry Williams. Terry, we're going to get back and do this. What we said before the break was part two
That's right.
of our time with Kevin Mulligan, Director of Public Works for the City of Greenville. Kevin, you've got an exciting job with roads and poop. So I don't know any other way to say it. You got to laugh sometimes. So
That's right.
no, in all seriousness, he doesn't do it. That's Greenville Utilities.
yeah,
Sorry,
that's all
Tony
right.
Cannon, took your job from you. Anyway, we got a stormwater. How about that?
Yeah,
Talk
that's
about
right.
that. So
Animal poop.
That's
yeah.
right.
Anyway, we'll get into serious discussion about where we're going here. You've had a lot of stuff going on the last several weeks before we came back on, talking about some of the changes
Sure.
that you've got coming with two of your biggest projects, was Martinsboro and Cedarhurst
Yeah.
Drive coming. So if you guys who live on that road, why don't you give a quick update on what's going on there?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Thanks for giving me the
Thanks for being
opportunity to sort of present what we're doing. So this contract is a little over 21 lane miles of road for about $2 million. $2 million is what we saw. We expect that it's going to be over $2 million with what we're seeing out there. Some of the significant base repairs. So what our typical road contract is, if you think of a road as being a table, we just take off the top 2 inches of the table and put 2 inches back down. When we take those 2 inches off, if we see broken road underneath, we know we have to take more of that down because we
Right.
want these roads to last. We're spending a lot of money, but we want them to last 20 years or so. And if we don't take care of that, they're not going to last but 5-6 years, and we don't want to be back out here in 5-6 years. So roads like Martinsboro, roads like Cedarhurst, we know they're in bad condition. We know New Martinsboro was in really bad condition. Cedarhurst, from our cores and from what we thought we'd expect, we knew it was going to be bad. We didn't think it would be as bad as it is. So that's the equal to Martinsboro. So we're going to have to almost do full depth base repair on both. Basically what that means
Right.
is instead of 100,000 a lane mile, we're talking 130, 140 a lane
Right.
mile.
So basically, for the public that do not know where these roads are, these are essentially neighborhood streets that are in ill repair
That's correct.
that you all are starting to work
One
on.
is in Lindale,
Martinsboro,
and where's
Lindale,
Cedarhurst?
West Haven, or
West
Club
Haven.
Hines area.
West
That's right.
Haven, yeah.
Yeah, in that area, which I've seen you all working in all of those areas. Well, a few of the roads which we've had the pleasure of driving on in the last couple of weeks have been completed.
That's right.
One being York Road, which
That's
there's
right.
been a lot of conversation about that because there's a lot of traffic. So people have
Absolutely.
been able to enjoy what we hope will be signs of ways to come, with
Absolutely.
our road repaving. And then currently, you're working on a lot of places, which I'll let you cover that. But Adams Boulevard, for one, is what I noticed, which caught my attention, not because of the paving, but as I asked you, they did have the existing road bumps or humps, whatever, the slow
The traffic calming devices.
calming
absolutely.
devices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Politically correct. Yeah.
Let's try to do that.
We
and
actually call
those
them
actually
street humps.
street humps, yeah. Those actually had to come up, and so they'll have to be put back, I guess.
That's right.
And
That's
so why
right.
don't you talk a little bit about where you all are right now with that, what you're actually
Sure.
working on.
So Adams Boulevard, we milled that out probably a couple weeks ago, and it needed some significant spot repairs of the road. Some clay materials we need to, not to get too technical, just need to take out.
Right.
There's groundwater coming up, and water and roads don't mix too well if they get underneath. But we milled it out. We had to take out two of the three speed humps there. We'll be replacing those. They're actually resurfacing them today.
You gonna make them bigger and better?
We're going to make
Should've
them
been on that.
more. We're probably putting down the standard we're moving towards is sort of the uptown version of that, and in that area it probably won't seem quite. For some reason in the uptown it seems like they're higher than the 3 inches that they are, maybe just from the angle. But
Right.
in Adams it will seem much less severe.
So will they be the same style as Uptown, or will they be
Same style.
asphalt?
So
Because
allow
ones
the
uptown
emergency
aren't
vehicles
asphalt.
to go. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. They're a rubberized
Right.
component. So there'll be that.
Okay.
That is a little cheaper.
Right.
Allows the emergency vehicles to access. They can fit through there. The spacing of them allows
Okay.
the wheelbase of emergency vehicles to pass through.
Wow, hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's one of the real attractive reasons not to delay. As you can understand, every second counts with public safety,
Right.
so to allow them to get there as quick as possible.
So Adams Boulevard takes you from Greenville Boulevard into by Eastwood into Brook Valley,
That's
the new
right.
section, for
That's
those who
right.
don't know where that is. And it seems to be a highly traveled,
It's a lot of cars.
yeah, a lot of
isn't it?
cars on there.
It is, and that's what led to some of the deterioration there. So 60% of that road, there was a piece that was done a number of years ago, but
Right.
60% of that road has been done.
So I have a question then. So you're
Sure.
redoing York, we're redoing, Martinsboro, Adams. Okay, this is 2015. What would you look at on a maintenance schedule? Because in the talk of the bond and all of that, we discussed the need for continuing maintenance on the ones that we completely redo like this. So
Right.
would be a schedule? A
What would
typical
happen to those
schedule,
roads over the next-
as you go forward after they are done?
So we would try and maintain them, certainly from a maintenance, operational, street sweeping, various winter items. We'd, if there's catch basins or manholes out there, we would look to clean those out. But as the road starts to get older and older, we'd look to do, if the road, in order to preserve the life of road, do some
Right.
what's called crack sealing,
Okay.
where we're putting this sort of like a polymer sealant to adhere to the cracks. That prevents water from getting in the road, and that will extend the life of a road.
Okay.
But we expect to be out there 20 years from now, and we'll replace that road again.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
We have that situation. I mean, we have 700 miles, 675 lane miles of road. If you think about how much it costs, roughly $100,000 per lane mile. Some roads more, some roads less. And the life of a road, 20 to 25 years. That's where the 2.5 million comes in. 2.5 million annually to put us on a regular cycle. If we ignore that cycle and just hope the roads don't deteriorate, they will.
Well, we've done a pretty good job of ignoring it so far.
And that's why some of our roads that we're looking at, Martinsboro, Cedarhurst, really in a poor state of disrepair, or maybe a very good state of disrepair, is it? They're in bad shape.
Right.
And they will cost more than $100,000. They'll be more 130, 140, 150 per lane mile. So some significant costs. And if we let them go much further, then you're talking about double the, 200,000 or more. It's like Arlington. We're talking about that as part of the bond. Arlington is our busiest road, the city road that we own. There's some other roads out there equally as busy, Evans, Memorial, Dickinson not so much, but Fire Tower. Those are state roads, state DOT roads. It's our busiest road, and there's sections of that that are in really poor condition.
What sections, because I guess the area of Arlington that is a concern extends from Stantonsburg Road all the way down to Red Banks? Is it that big of a link?
Stantonsburg to Fire Tower we'd want to redo, but the most significant, we'd want to resurface it before it gets too bad. But the area that we need to do more than resurfacing is between Evans and Red Banks and Evans and Greenville Boulevard, possibly Memorial to Red Banks, and that will be
that's massive.
That is, and that's
that
expensive.
Is an insanely highly traveled road.
It really is. So we certainly will look at nighttime construction there, doing one lane at a time, leaving some. We can't just go in there and close it down, those 4 lanes, those 5 lanes, considering the median. Just shut them down for a month. We can't do that. So we'll look to do the repair with a lane closed, possibly during the night. Whenever the least amount of traffic during the summer, when the least amount of traffic, it's still a very busy road. That is the major commuting from any neighborhood up to the hospital.
But it might help when Rose is not in session for summer. Would be a better time.
That's right. When high school's not, when the university's not in session, we'll look to bang that road out.
So if the bond passes, that's where the majority of the money you're speaking about spending for Arlington Road would come from. So, there might be some other funds, but that's the basic.
That's right.
Of the bulk.
What number were we looking at just for Arlington? Approximately?
We at this conceptual level stage, $5 million.
Okay.
So almost half
of
what's proposed for the road bond.
So the bond passes, and then there's a waiting period before we actually have access to that money. Once we know it's passed and we know you're getting the money, is that something then you can go ahead and start work, because we're under a pressure point with the condition of Arlington, so we can't wait 2 years or whatever.
So there'll be 2 or 3 phases for Arlington, probably 2, whereas I'll call it a north-south road. North of Memorial, we would probably resurface that up to Stantonsburg, and south of either Greenville or south of Red Banks, we'd resurface that down to Fire Tower. The part in the middle, we'll need to design the actual improvement there. We're putting that RFQ out because we anticipate that'll be a full depth reclamation, but we'll need lots of soil samples, and that is a more complicated design. That is a much more expensive than the other 2. We expect the other 2 will be the other 2 sections will be about 100,000 per lane mile. This is triple, quadruple that.
So we may see something come about quicker on Arlington to give us a great idea of what we have to look forward to before we actually get into the in-depth work.
That's right. At this stage,
possibly about summer of 16, I would think
that
you
sounds
could possibly
possible.
see some work.
That's right. If the bond passes, and I'm hopeful that it will, and I think it makes sense that it does, we will look to do the resurfacing of Arlington pretty quickly. That middle section that really needs it, we're actually putting, I think I may have mentioned, we're putting a design contract out now for that.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the bad news. What if it doesn't pass? And we got to look at that.
I mean, what would we borrow the money? It's hard for you to say.
I think in our last meeting you said, in some of what Mayor Thomas's letters have sent out, is within the next 18 to 24 months you could potentially have failure.
Yeah, we get a couple more winters like we've had, a couple more springs like we've had, where we've had these significant freeze-thaw ice storms, and then this massive rain amounts. We could potentially lose a lane or so on Arlington within the next 2-3 years. So we do not want that to happen in that section that we're talking about. The soil conditions there are poor, and so one way or another, hopefully the bond passes, but one way or another we have to address that. The problem's not going away if the bond doesn't pass, so we have to address that road.
Well, I think it'd be good too, Terry. There's still a lot, and there will continue to be a lot of confusion over how much how many roads are the cities
Right.
and how many
That's
are
right.
not. And a lot of, I'd say the perfect example of a horrendous road is Dickinson Avenue,
Right.
but it's not the cities.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the bond package, Dickinson's not going to be touched unless we could do a lot of lobbying through the state, or the state bond passes possibly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So
That is a huge bond that the governor's working on.
But Greenville
for
Boulevard,
transportation.
Memorial Boulevard,
Evans Fire Tower.
Evans Fire Tower, all are DOT roads.
That's right. 10th Street.
And are not in that bond he's speaking about. It's
That's-
that we, at this point, what we've heard.
That's right. Those two, at least, the two bonds. There's the city bond. None of the city funds would go towards the state road.
Right.
And the state bond, those funds would not go towards city
Right.
roads. What's proposed, what I've seen, and maybe what you've seen as well, in the state bond is just Dickinson. So 10th Street's being addressed through the 10th Street connector. We
That's
fully
right.
expect.
But the city is contributing to the 10th Street
That's
connector
correct.
Right.
That's
to
correct.
enhance it some.
Some enhancements, but streetlights, half the sidewalk, some landscaping, and some other measures are ours to pay for, and that's on the order of what we'll call 1.8 million.
But I also understand we're committed to that at
That's
this
right.
point. So
Yeah.
there's no going back, bond or no
That's
bond.
right.
We're paying that bill.
No, so we either pay for it when it's due, or they would subtract it from the Powell bill money
Right.
that we get allotted every year, and that would hurt.
So is Dickinson in the big governor's bond because of the 10th Street connector and its location to the work that's already been done? Why was that road chosen over, say, Greenville Boulevard or Memorial?
Sure. And I think it's a function of that the design is 75% complete. It's on the
Okay.
shelf. The only thing to do is left to do are some right-of-way acquisitions, and those are more air acquisitions rather than land acquisitions. So the fact that it's ready to go,
Okay.
it's construction ready, is very helpful to that. Greenville Boulevard is. So I think there's a bigger plan that needs to be assessed as to
Right.
what to do there, and that's part of the state transportation improvement plan. They're doing a feasibility study on that, or in the next year or two, we're beginning that
Right.
feasibility study as the monies become available for that. 10th Street connector, that's just about underway. Expect the bids to come in August on that. The other roads, Fire Tower. There's some future plans there.
Right.
Evans, there's some future plans
Right.
there. So I don't know that they're ready as part of the big bond. Certainly, if they wanted to resurface some of the roads,
Right.
that would be simple enough to do. But DOT does a great job. And
Well, what do we do now? Like, how do you find out? Is there a schedule on a website somewhere with the state, or how do they determine we need some potholes and things done right now? Really, we can't wait much longer. If we have a rainy summer, we're going to have big. I mean, we could have just a big mess more than we've got right now. So, how do they go about determining, and how soon? And is that something you all suggest, or do they just have their own people who come around, and ride around the roads and say this is next?
Yeah, well, they have their own methodology, very similar to us. Where they use sort of the same program and that we did with that. We used a company called Transmap for some of that diagnostic, which is just a tool in our toolbox. We also go out there doing cores, and we work with the utilities to see when their scheduled replacement is, so that when we resurface a road, it's not torn up
Right.
a week later or a year later. So they use sort of the same mechanism, and then it all comes down to funding. So their funding is from gas tax. That's how we get our Powell bill money.
Right.
That's how they get their operating and capital money. It's done on a annual basis. So it's a question of, I'm sure they're aware that they have some roads that they would like to resurface. It's a question of funding.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned this maybe on the last time you were on. Why I could not understand, I know we don't want to pay more gas taxes or even pay what we're paying now, but there was discussion about reducing our gas tax of what we pay, but yet we're in so much trouble. We're already used to paying this amount. I can't understand why they just don't leave it in place, fix the roads, and then worry about reducing that at a later
I think
time.
they need to change the model. The problem with gas tank tax is if you look at the requirements the government's putting on cars for higher fuel mileage,
Right.
or electric cars, for example. I mean, if you get I used to have a Volkswagen Passat that got 45 miles per gallon. That's a lot
Right.
better than the truck I have getting 15. That's a significant amount of tax revenue they're not getting. So they need to
Right.
kind of relook at the model and possibly look at a lanes traveled or miles traveled concept for people to pay up. And you use it more, you pay more. I mean, I think that's fair. It's not going to be very likable, but
Right.
it's something they're going to continue to fight. I'm sure that
Absolutely,
it
and I
affects
think that's
everything.
exactly what they're looking into. What is the sustainable model?
Right.
So I think it's a good time to take a break.
Sounds
As we
good.
come back, and so when we do come back, let's talk about public works side of stormwater retention
Right.
and the big dig coming up. So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back to our show, Greenville Grit. We've had a great discussion today with Kevin Mulligan, our Director of Public Works, about the conditions of some of our roadways and what they are doing to make that better for all of us, and how they're going to spend the money in the best places to get the best results the quickest that we can.
Absolutely.
So we want to maybe change our conversation a little bit to maybe an update on what Michael refers to as the big dig, the Town Creek culvert. Sort of inform us what's going on. That's going to be a big undertaking and
That
put a
is-
lot of people going in some different directions for a
Yeah.
while. So tell us a little bit about that and how long that's going to take to.
And when does it start?
When does it start?
Yeah, massive
Yeah.
stormwater project. So we're going to have 10th Street Connector and the Town Creek Culvert kind of operating out of the same area going on at the same time. So there will be, we're coordinating with DOT. We're looking at the traffic impacts. We want to make sure that we don't divert to a road that they've closed. So
Right.
we're coordinating that effort. Luckily, Dickinson was going to be done. Maybe that will be done a year later, so that all three aren't going on at the same time.
Right.
But so big, massive stormwater project that right now, so Hurricane Irene happened, and there's a bowl right in front of what I call a bowl, so a depressed area of Reed Circle. We're right in front of the new construction, that the Boundary Project.
Right.
Hurricane Irene, we had 2.5 feet of water in the road there. It's tough to have a business if there's 2.5 feet of water out in front of your business.
Right.
We're designing this for a 25-year storm. Irene was a 24-year storm. Another Irene comes, there shouldn't be, as long as the maintenance and is built to the design, there shouldn't be any water in the street. There should be that much of an improvement. Cost of a project like this, we're on the order of looking at between 12 and 14 million dollars to do this project. Starts over by the UNX building, 9th and Washington, and it will go the route of the stormwater pipe will go behind. Thai 360 area, and then it will take a right and turn on Reed Circle, follow up Reed Circle to 5th Street, and then go in that depressed area there, that natural grassy area that the university owns.
Okay.
Now, will all of the roads that you described be shut down to some degree?
To some degree. So these are, at least on Reed Circle, you're talking about two 84-inch pipes next to each other. 84-inch pipe, I could walk through an 84-inch pipe. So that's, so the southern side of Reed Circle is where that alignment is currently proposed, and so that side of the road in segments will be closed, and we'll look to keep Cotanch open. We're going through this methodically so that we'll deal with the area between 5th and Cotanch, hopefully when the university is the students are home. So we want to tackle that in the several months that in the summer months.
Right.
And when does this start?
Probably start next beginning of 16.
Beginning of 16.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Not
So
too far
we're
off.
70% design right now. Part of this, we've received a zero-interest $10 million loan from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. We're meeting with the state, continuing on that,
Right.
sort of update them on our progress. That's a green infrastructure loan, so there's some wetlands and BMPs. Best management practice is a
Right.
fancy acronym for putting wetlands and other sort of green infrastructure in place that one is great for the city from an environmental point of view, but also saves us a zero interest loan on a project like this
Right.
will save us $2-3 million.
Wow. That's
Well,
big.
we have about say 30, 45 seconds left. Any other quick things that for people to know about either
Sure.
the paving or even public or the stormwater?
I was going to just jump onto the intermodal facility and the Tiger Grant. Intermodal facility is just on the other side of the police and fire parking lot between Pitt and Clark and just south of Bonner. We had a public meeting last week, showed some of the proposed renderings of what the facility will look like. I love what the proposed facility will look like. We expect to be done with design towards the end of the year.
Start construction in 2016.
That's right.
Possibly.
That's right. All depends on the acquisition of property, but we expect to be done with that by the end of next year.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Kevin, thank you for coming on for the two-part
my
series.
pleasure.
Hopefully
Yes.
everyone has listened, has learned something and enjoyed
That's right.
it. Could they possibly go to the city website and find out about projects that are going
Oh,
on?
absolutely. Go to the city website. We have a major projects listing. So you'll see the convention center, you'll see Town Creek Culvert.
And possibly even the
road
roads, what
resurfacing.
roads will be working on.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
It's all
That's
there.
great.
So Greenville City website and check that out. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch us again on Friday night at 6:30 or Saturday morning at 9:30, making sure on Cable 7. Until next time, we'll see you next week with Mayor Alan Thomas coming back on to talk more about our bond. See you next week.